Good afternoon and welcome back to the channel. This video is not financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor. Do your own research, make your own decisions. All right, guys, so this is part two. I didn't mean to just randomly drop that video first thing in the morning with no real follow-up. It was kind of a, spontaneous thing that it was like, oh man. And that happens a lot, but it only happens for me when I am actively pursuing information that I think is important. And a lot of times when I'm doing that, I find out all types of things, right? So I want to do a part two because I think there's some more important takeaways than what I went over in the earlier video. So now what? Um, First, I just want to ask a very common sense question. Why has nobody in the mainstream raised this as an issue? They've spent hours, days, weeks, I mean, collectively talking about CBDCs. But if today, like today, there were to be an announcement, let's say all the countries came together and said, yeah, we're not going to do CBDCs. We're scrapping the whole CBDC plan. This is still a problem. And see, this is even a bigger problem because this general system, this process, essentially is blanketed over everything, every address, everywhere. Okay. Regardless of whether or not any particular network or technology is, abiding by XYZ regulations or compliance or whatever it may be. Um, People within a tech company or a government agency can deem XYZ person as being essentially a criminal, and then this process can be applied to whatever addresses are linked back to that person. I don't see anything that is stopping that scenario from happening. And if you think that I'm making too big of a deal, this is a big to do about nothing, just explain to me in the comment section what guardrails are in place. What's stopping this from being abused? Just an open question. But, guys, I don't want to get too hyper focused and like looking at this in a vacuum because I'm kind of going against a general, my own general positions on certain things. Because again, I expected to see stuff like this as this unfolded. But ultimately, it really comes down to like, what are your options? And for me, you know, the options are very limited. So it's just important to understand the rules of the game and to truly be able to identify where the threats really are. Because when you're looking at this, if there's big threats that you're not aware of, like for example, if you don't believe that it's even technically possible for something like this to happen to you, and you're going through your day-to-day life believing that this could never happen to me, well, you're not going to prepare for all possible outcomes, and you're not going to be in a position to, you know, uh, not you're not going to be prepared for the threats that are out there, whether or not you believe they are or not. They're out there. So are there any solutions for this? Well, in my opinion, the only potential solution is more people honestly covering the space and sharing factual information and having conversations that are really the inverse of the mainstream. Because see, the way the mainstream dominates the public conversation, that just becomes reality. It doesn't matter how much it aligns with actual reality. What matters is the percentage of people that accept it as reality. And so we can't even talk about solutions until there's more people honestly covering the space. And so that's why I'm not going to be interested in hearing the virtue signaling from the mainstream people over the next 1 to 2 to 3 years about a variety of different things, because none of them told the truth over the last 2 years. See, again, there are going to be real consequences to The fact that so few people told the truth about what was going on here over the last couple years, and I've said this many, 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 many times, because one, we're not accurately identifying all the real threats involved with this. And the next group of people's not doing that. Those conversations aren't happening. What the thing that should be happening right now is that mainstream people, there should be open public conversations about the real threats that exist, not just specifically with this. Because let's just take this out of the equation. Let's just say this doesn't exist. They can still do the exact same process that I took you through um, in the last video with CBDCs don't matter. There are other ways that they can go about shutting you off if they want to. And if you, and I got a couple comments about this video and the prior video from a couple weeks ago. They're like, oh, well, it's no problem. You can just do peer to peer. Can you pay your cell phone bill peer to peer? Can you pay a hospital bill peer to peer? No. So peer to peer, just saying, oh, you can just trade peer to peer. That's not a solution. And you know what they can do? What they can do is they can flag all those addresses that are trading with you so that their addresses are also tainted now. Because see, now they're engaged in commerce with people who are committing illegal activities or illicit activities. And guys, listen, the main point here, maybe this is never abused. That's possible. The point that I'm making is that I see nothing that's stopping this from being abused. And somebody could say, well, you're just presenting a problem. Like, what's this? The solution is more people honestly, openly covering the space. And if that never happens, and I'm not optimistic that it is going to happen because I've been on here 2 years saying the raw, unfiltered truth about anything and everything that I find out about what's going on. And I've watched and observed the mainstream and the gap between the story that's being told to people and the reality of the gap is just so wide that it's not possible for there to be mainstream conversations about solutions because the real problems aren't being discussed. Fake problems are being discussed. Psyops are being discussed. Up or down is being discussed. That's it. And again, people are legitimate, mainstream people in crypto, and a lot of just people that are holders. They, in their mind, they're at least 3 years behind where this tech already is right now. That's why I said I think over the next few years, I think we're going to see the greatest shakeout of all time, of all time. And I will stick around to cover it. I don't know how much, I mean, my videos might be here, there, and everywhere. I have no idea. Um, I never really, I was just kind of taking this week by week, month by month, which is what I'll continue to do. But I do think we're going to see the greatest shakeout of all time because I do think in 4 years from now, this is just the new system. And I think that they're going to throw a lot of people off the roller coaster in between now and then. Just my opinion. Nothing's ever a sure thing. This is not financial advice. Do your own research. I'm not a financial advisor. So, okay. If more people were covering the space, honestly, increasing public awareness. See, right now, public awareness is so small. Public awareness needs to grow. And if public awareness grows and there's more and more and more people that are aware of what's going on, they're informed and they can voice their concerns, right? That's how you change public conversation. But the stranglehold that they have over public conversation is a huge, huge problem. And it's very, very difficult to penetrate the public conversation. Trust me, okay? like that's legit like what I'm trying to do. And it's not easy. You almost cannot do it alone. You almost need numerous people working together. like a lot of people working together. Just the same way that the propagandists work. You would essentially be the inverse propagandists. Because, see, people don't think that all these influencers and everything that they're coordinating, and they might not be. They might just be getting talking points from the people they work for, because that's the only thing that makes sense to me, because they all repeat the same talking points. So you can say whatever you want to about my content, but it's original. This is my raw, unfiltered opinion and take on everything. And I try as much as possible to just more so refer to factual information as opposed to getting too opinion based. When only a tiny percentage are covering the real issues are going to get overlooked. Expectations. It's important to know the rules of the game and the different ways this could be abused, even though I acknowledge that it's possible that it's not abused. But again, the only thing I'm saying is that I don't see, and if you do, if I'm wrong, if I'm missing something, let me know in the comment section below. But I don't see the thing that's really stopping this from being abused. Their moral compass is the thing that's going to stop this from being abused. And I don't know, I mean, if you've been alive for the last few years and you've been observing reality, it doesn't seem like the people who are in these very powerful positions have much of a moral compass when it comes to the overall well-being of the general public. Things will not go well just because you are optimistic and that's what you want to happen. You can be as optimistic as you want to be. You can just be glowing with optimism. But see, that's not actually going to do anything. If you're relying on other people to address issues, if you're relying on other people to voice their concerns and present solutions, good luck. Because so many people in the entire crypto space has already been co-opted long time ago, because they're going to control the public conversation. And the things that you hear in the mainstream are going to be the things they want you to hear. And the things that you don't hear in the mainstream are because they don't want you to hear it. The mainstream conversation in crypto is 100% always and forever. Never forget this. It is always designed to deceive you. Think about how much focus has been on CBDCs. Everybody, and guys, think about this. The real psyop is that, let's just say the US comes out and says, we're not going to do central bank digital currencies, but we are just going to use stable coins because it's a more efficient way to transact. What's the entire crypto mainstream going to do? We won, guys. Freedom has been saved. Everything is like, see, like we made it happen. We succeeded, so on and so forth. But the exact same thing, it's even a bigger problem than CBDCs, because systems like this can essentially overlap every single asset, every single address, every person, every network. Okay. No one is coming to save the day. All right. I'm just letting you know. And I know, like, it might feel like you can't do anything, but I mean, and in a vacuum, that might be true. But I'm just saying that if everybody takes that position, then there's literally no chance that real issues are ever going to be raised. And like for me, I'm just at the point where I just don't give a fuck. I mean, if we're already in the general time period where in the next 10 years, I'm going to be seeing people with computer chips stuck in the back of their head, if that's already where we are, then I just don't give a fuck. I mean, it is what it is. Let's go. And, if they have to shut me off, then shut me off and let's get the show on the road. But if that's where we are, then fuck it. And that's my general position. There's no reason, guys, I understand why some of y'all might want to be anonymous online, but who are you anonymous from? Other normal people? You're not anonymous from the people running the show. They know exactly who you are and what you're doing and what you're typing. So I would think about that. Who am I trying to be anonymous from? Why am I anonymous? Why do I have? Because guys, listen, these people can see everything. So if you're trying to stay like under the radar, it ain't gonna happen. Now you cannot go as far as what I'm going, but they still know everything, in my opinion. Okay. There would be no reason why they wouldn't. The only thing, again, back to the same scenario, the only thing that would prevent them from knowing every single thing about you is their own moral compass. That's it. That's the only thing standing in between uh, where we are and this entire dystopian situation unfolding. All right. And again, guys, compartmentalization. In a general sense, right? In a different context, I'm extremely, extremely bullish on crypto. I think these are going to be the best performing assets by a very, very, very wide margin, the blue chips. I think ICP is going to be one of the biggest things in the world. I think the technology itself is mind blowing. And I do think there's a lot of benefits to a lot of this technology, to tokenization in general, to the ability to own your own data, to the ability to have governance at the application level. I think all of those things are great. All I'm saying is that if you create this overarching system to where a group of people that I don't know and you don't know, who are accountable to nobody, can, behind closed doors, decide that you're committing illicit activity, or government institutions can just decide that you're committing illicit activity. And then, bam, if that can be done, and that's an overlapping thing across the whole space, then people need to understand that. That's not to say that just because that could happen, that it will. But again, the only thing standing in between where we are right now and that becoming a reality is these people's moral compass. The best of my understanding, there's no guardrails in place that would stop this from being abused. If I'm wrong about that, let me know in the comment section below. I cover what I believe to be the most important things. And that's that. And, I say what I feel like needs to be said. And a lot of times, like, I'll shift directions with my channel because new things come to light. Or let's say, like, we're 7, 8 months ago and everybody's scared as fuck because the psyops are coming from every single direction and they're suppressing the market. Like, at that point in time, I felt like the most important things I could say are just reminding people of the big picture and essentially talking them off of a ledge. Not that, make your own decisions, not financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor, but I felt like that was the most important thing that I could say at the time. And so now, understanding this better, I cover whatever I think to be the most important thing. I'm not here to grow my channel. I'm not here to be liked by other people. I'm not here to become a crypto influencer. I'm here to try to inform as many people as I possibly can about all the different things that I know and understand about what's going on with this. That's it. And I don't care if other people like it or don't like it. I'm sure there are some people that did not like my last video. So all I'm saying, guys, is just present a counter argument in the comment section. I might be missing something. So present a counter argument. But just so you know, before you do that, I thought this through pretty thoroughly. So I've thought of all the counter positions. I think maybe not. I don't know. I guess we'll see. Again, compartmentalization. It's not the easiest thing in the world to do. I struggle with it, but I can compartmentalize. I can say, this is still my best option. This is a matter of survival. Like I've been saying for almost 2 years, this is legitimately going to be a survival of the fittest situation. Everybody else, or a lot of other people, especially the mainstream, they were all just treating it like this is just this cool new thing, and it's all And in reality, it's very much a survival of the fittest situation. And in my opinion, people should prepare for a survival of the fittest situation. And at the end of the day, guys, it's all relative, okay? With what this is and the other options that you have, right? Because I could throw my arms up in the air and just say, cancel everybody, this is my, and just start, freaking out. But at the end of the day, what I'm doing with crypto is it's relative to the other options that I have available. And after looking at all of my options, I decide XYZ is going to put me in the best possible position to be in a survival of the fittest type situation, because that's what I believe that we're going into. I believe that we're already there. So, again, this may never be abused. The only thing I'm telling you is that I don't see anything, any guardrails that would stop this from being abused. If you do, let me know. And just to end the video the same way I began the video. Why is nobody in the mainstream, why has nobody really raised this issue? Kudos, hat tip to those people that did raise this as an issue in different communities and just in general in the crypto space. But it's not very many people at all. And you just have to really wonder why, when you understand that there's no guardrails in place to keep this from being abused, and it overlaps the entire space, all digital assets, all networks, all addresses, right? So, but yet they spend all of their time talking about CBDCs hysterically, right? So that's the video. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Let me know if I missed anything. That's it. Not financial advice. Take care. Have a good night. I will see you in the next video.